Welcome to the latest edition of
Know Your Troll.
Know Your Troll. If you're new to this channel or if you are new to this video series, this is a video series where people say really stupid things in the comment section of my videos, and I capitalize on those people's stupidities and monetize it in this video. And we also address a few other comments that are non-troll worthy, actual legitimate comments and questions and things along the way. So let's get to it. This was a comment on the video that I did, basically, regarding, I think the title of the video was Every Metal Distortion Pedal That I Own. It's Andrew Burns says, Robert, I really like this one. Surprised quite how big some of the contrast was between pedals and wondered how much went into using similar settings. Was starting to reckon these were not quite my thing, but that TC Fangs kicked ass. How much went into the settings of each of those pedals? Actually, very little. If you read the comments on that video, there's actually a few complaints that the levels were kind of all over the place. So basically, really what I did, for the most part, I just plugged them in, regardless of what settings they were on, and tweaked a few minor things. Bumped a level and up or down, and really didn't, as I mentioned, didn't pay too much attention to that even, and just riffed away. It was, that video was not really meant to be so much of a demo video or a shootout video or a comparison video or anything like that. Just so much as it was a fun way for me to, a way for me to have some fun with my love for metal distortion pedals, and that's really all that video was. So, but I'm glad you did find one in there that you like the sound of. Believe it or not, I actually really like the sound of the Fangs as well. On a couple of settings, there's a scooped setting on that pedal that I don't really care for, but the rest of them, the other two settings are pretty good. Ball bag says, why don't you do a rundown of the 10 worst haircuts on fat bearded douchebags? If you are new to this channel, I have the fat and bearded and bald portions of your statement covered pretty well in just about every one of my videos. And I get people like you that comment on videos like that all the time, so we got the douchebag covered there, so we're good. This comment was on the heavy metal slide whistle video from Big Bruh. He says, sounds like the Fuzz Factory demo. Oh boy. Speaking of the Fuzz Factory demo, on that video, Zvex commented, well, he also hates tuners, so I'd say we're in good company. Oh man, I don't know if this is true or not, but I understand that Zachary Vex is known for not having a real good sense of humor. That said, while I've certainly never made any bones about not liking that pedal, and that is still true. That's just me. I do recognize that it is a very popular pedal among people that like fuzzes. I do recognize that, and my hat's off to you for finding a niche in that, for carving out your own niche within that crowd. There's never any hard feelings against Zachary Vex or anything, or anything like that. But it's just I didn't like a pedal, and I decided to make a joke out of it, and see how many people I could piss off in the meantime. So Zach, if you are seeing this video, I do hope there's no hard feelings, though I highly doubt you will be contacting me to demo any of your newer products anytime soon. This one came from the greatest solid state amps ever video from Christopher Slaughter, who says, I'm not even gonna F with watching this because of your attitude. Attitude is spelled A-T-T-I-T-U-D-E, genius. This is a comment on the greatest heavy sounding amps ever video. This one was from Clay Braley. He says, I'd like to see a top 5 or 10 list by price point, 3 or 4 categories: stingy, cheap, thrifty, nominal, pricey, expensive, and then last, the diesel category. LOL. You know, I like the idea, and I agree on, you know, the idea itself. On paper, sounds like it would be a good idea, but I can, just from experience, you know, from a video production standpoint, that is going to be a very, very confusing video, and be real easy to be really easy to retain a lot of viewers, you know, to watch the whole thing. I think that, you know, really what you just mentioned is, you know, that's probably that's 3 or 4 or 5 individual videos. They could, you know, that at least that's how I would do it. So, you know, whether or not I will do those, you know, that's an idea I'm definitely going to put in my back pocket. Probably not going to happen anytime soon, you know, just because, you know, I kind of like to try to keep the variety going as much as I can, and you know, if I put up a top 10 or a top 12, whatever, you know, best or worst of video, you know, a couple times a week, you guys would get just as bored with watching those as I would get with seeing them, you know. And this is this is a Guitar Gear channel. You know, this channel is about guitar gear, and I like to play guitar and demo gear sometimes. On the video where I said that I was done with Reverb, Edwin Estrada commented, I like Reverb. I like animals, but I don't have pets, and not everyone has a love affair with animals. I've bought and sold on Reverb. Terrific folks. You know, my problem was never with, I've never had a problem with the platform, with Reverb's platform. Honestly, I think their platform's great. I've bought and sold on there many times myself and had great luck with it. You know, I just don't, you know, as you know, somebody who is an animal lover, and somebody who, you know, I've, you know, the last, I don't know how many, you know, dogs that I've had, you know, pets that I've had, we've adopted every single one of them, you know. So animal shelters are, you know, that's a cause that is very, very personal to me. And you know, when Reverb backed out of a commitment that they had already made to support a cause that was, you know, specifically in support of an animal shelter, you know, that just rubbed me the wrong way. You know, and I'm not going to go into all the details about it, but you know, my stance on that has absolutely nothing to do with Glenn Fricker. You know, it just happened to be his video that I got the information from. So, and you know, contrary to what some people might say or have already said, you know, I happen to think Glenn is a pretty, you know, I don't know him, but you know, he seems like a pretty stand-up guy to me, and you know, with a fair amount of industry knowledge. So, you know, regardless of, you know, even if he wasn't, you know, just, you know, to bag out on a charity event supporting an animal shelter is, you know, that isn't cool to me. That's not cool to me, and you know, I just can't support that. Forever Pick commented, God, I miss you. I've been hanging out on my other account because I think the guitar world is too much for me sometimes. Guitar balance. Bobby Paul, I have missed you as well. You know, speaking of Bobby Paul, I don't know if I think I may have forgotten to share this. I did he sent me a new product of his called the Humbucker Helper, which is a new guitar pick, newer anyway, guitar pick product that he makes. It's basically made out of a penny. And, you know, my expectations for that were not very high, but he asked me to demo it for him, and I was very pleasantly surprised, and actually really, really liked it, and he enjoyed the video that I did on it. And as a thank you, he sent me this letter. This letter right here, which says, Dear Robert, thank you for your time and support. Please keep this .999 1/10 Troy ounce silver guitar pick 1 of 5 until the copper starts to catch on. Your friend, Bobby Paul. And what he is referring to, basically, he sent me a pure silver version, almost pure silver, 0.999% pure, I guess. If I understand that right. I'm not real big on metallurgy or that kind of thing, but basically he sent me an almost pure silver version of the Humbucker Helper, specifically for doing that video. So thank you very much, Bobby. Great guy, great guy. Been a wonderful, wonderful sponsor of this channel, and you know, somebody I've had a pleasure to work with. And he used to work for a guitar company back in an era, a guitar company that made a very, very well-known 5-neck guitar, is how he described it to me. And I actually have a video coming up. Well, by the time you guys see this video, that video will have already aired. But I have a video coming up of a guitar from that same company. So hopefully he sees that. I would love to hear his thoughts. Here it is, Outdoors says, "Hey, enjoy the channel. What software do you use for editing videos? Thanks." Thank you very much for commenting, and thank you very much for asking that question. I actually use a video software called Movie Studio Platinum. Actually, the Platinum Suite is what I have. And Movie Studio is basically a smaller version of Vegas Pro. Vegas used to be owned by Sony, and then they have recently sold it off to another company called Magix, M-A-G-I-X. You can find a link to them, and I'm actually an affiliate of theirs. You can find a link to that down in the description if you would like to check out any of the Magix software products, because they make fantastic software. You know, the reason why I use Movie Studio Platinum, you know, / Vegas, whatever you want to call it, is because well, when I first got started doing YouTube, I had no experience editing video whatsoever, none. And you know, I had no idea what I needed to buy or anything like that. And you know, I was fortunate that my copy of Windows 8 at that time, I think, had you know, came with the free version of Windows Movie Maker. And that's actually what I used to edit the first, you know, 4, 5, 6 months or so of videos. Windows Movie Maker is literally as basic as it comes. There is, you know, absolutely no bells or whistles whatsoever, and it's basically designed to, you know, for people, you know, to teach people like me who know nothing about video editing software. It's designed to teach beginners the very basics, and that's what I learned from it. And finally, the day came that, you know, I had to do something with. I did a video with 2 camera angles or something like that. It was something that Windows Movie Maker would not do, and you know, so I was forced to upgrade. And I've been doing some research along the way, and I kept hearing over and over again that Vegas and Movie Studio are the easiest, you know, or very, very easy to learn to use. They're both still pretty complex pieces of software. I don't want to pretend like they're basic, because they're not. But that's what I got started on. You know, I didn't want to buy the full version just yet, so I bought the Movie Studio, at that time Movie Studio 13, and used that for a couple of years, and then I just upgraded to Movie Studio 15 earlier this year. And you know, I think next time I upgrade, it's going to be to the full Pro version. You know, really about the only difference between the two is the plugins that you get. You know, the plugins that come with them. So, you know, Platinum has a lot of plugins. You know, it's, you know, certainly got everything. You know, a lot of them that I need. There's a few things in there it doesn't do though that I wish it did. So, this is a comment from this one was a response to the pinned comment on the greatest heavy sounding amps ever video. Islander Winder says 6505/5150 not heavy, yet you include the JCM 800, which you can play country on it unless you boost it with a pedal. My explanation for all of this is in the pinned comment. I'm not going to rehash that, but one question I do have is, what country guitar player plays through a Marshall JCM 800? Seriously, name me one country guitar player that is known for playing a Marshall JCM 800. Michael Cornett says, "Wow, your playing really sucked." Yep, you are correct, sir. I am not the greatest guitar player in the world. I am not even the greatest guitar player on YouTube. Sorry about your penis, by the way. Mike Driucci says, "Didn't get to hear one amp, just one guy's opinion." You triggered, Snowflake? Ray Helton says, "This guy doesn't know as much as he thinks he does." I never claimed to know more than anybody else. I never claimed to know more than most people, or any people for that matter. I merely have only claimed to be a guy with an opinion. I do think that my experience working behind the counter in a guitar shop in management, by the way, for a number of years, and my accomplishments in that business give me a little bit more, give me a somewhat unique perspective than what you might hear from other channels on YouTube. Not that there's anything wrong with those other perspectives. I just merely try to share my experience and my opinions, and you can either take them or leave them. I certainly do not nor have ever claimed to have all the answers. This comment was left on one of the Forgotten Gems of the Past videos that I did recently. Ryan L. says, "Love these vintage lost gems of the 80s/90s. Keep it going, man." Well, thank you very much, Ryan. I do appreciate it. I'm glad that you have enjoyed them, and that's actually a great opportunity for me to ask all of you what you think of that particular video series. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Several of you seem to have enjoyed it thus far. I am planning on doing at least a few more episodes, and like I said, if let me know. I'll post a poll right here, and if that is something that you want me to keep on doing, give a yay or an nay, and we'll see what happens. Scott Wilmarth says, "Still hating fuzzes?" Yep. This comment is from Telly's Play Metal. He says, she says, I guess I don't know, says, "Your videos are cool. It's like a buddy showing us his favorite gear instead of a 20-minute advertisement. So thank you for that. Thumbs up." Thank you so much. It warms my heart to hear people, hear people say nice things about me and get some real enjoyment out of my videos. I just enjoy creating, guitar gear related content on YouTube, and it's really what I enjoy creating the content. The other thing that I enjoy is learning about all kinds of stuff. As I go, I've learned, here in the last year or so, especially, I've learned a lot about recording, and it's been, it's one of those things that's kind of opened up, and it's a whole new world for me, So it's, like I just mentioned previously, I certainly don't claim to have all the answers. I've never claimed to have all the answers. I'm not ever going to have all the answers, but. It is sure is it's when you're passionate about guitar gear and about music equipment and all the things that we talk about on this channel, it's pretty easy to to fall into it and develop a passion for it. So I'm glad to hear that at least a few of you noticed that seems to show. So thank you again very much. I appreciate it. The Real Retox says, Ibanez, quote, "Weeping Demon," unquote. Never heard of it, but damn, that name is metal AF. I'm going to show my age here because ending any sentence with the term AF is extremely awkward to me. And I hope that I never have to do that again. Regarding the Weeping Demon, though, the Weeping Demon is actually my very, very favorite wah pedal, and I like that wah pedal so much to the point that I actually own 3 of them. I've got one on one of my guitar pedal boards, I've got one on my bass pedal board, and a third one laying around here somewhere that actually I think that one's got something's wrong with the switch in that one, but it fell back behind a bookcase or something a while back, and I never dug it out, but trust me, it's fine. But yeah, I really like that pedal because it's it has a manual or an auto mode. The auto mode acting like a on a spring, a spring sensor type of design, similar to a Morley pedal, for example. So if you don't like wah pedals with a toe switch, like I don't, it makes it very, very easy to operate. If you would prefer a switch, you can simply put it into manual mode and kick the switch on and off to your heart's content. One thing about the switch is actually off to the side of the foot treadle, so it's a 2-stop process as opposed to just putting your foot on it and smashing the toe. So a lot of people don't like that feature of it, and if I did like wah pedals with toe switches, I probably wouldn't either. But like I said, for me it works great because I just keep it in auto mode, which works just fine. And more importantly, all the different ways that you can tweak the tone of that pedal. It's got a high and a low mode, so the low obviously being a little bit more better geared towards bass guitar, It's got a lot of different, tweaky knobs on it, to make it all kinds of fun and give you all different kinds of different wah possibilities. It was actually part of Ibanez's Tone Lock series that came out in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and every pedal got discontinued in that series, though the Tube Screamer out of that series, which I think was the TS7, is kind of a forgotten gem. But the rest of the Tone Lock series pedals were kind of regarded as relatively inexpensive pedals, not the greatest in the world. Not bad by any means, but certainly not high-end pedals. And they ended up discontinuing the entire line except for the Weeping Demon, which stayed around for several years after the rest of them had been discontinued. And then unfortunately they finally discontinued the Weeping Demon, and fortunately I own 3 of them now. There we have it. That was the last comment. Thank you so much for watching. Please continue to comment on my videos. I actually really do enjoy. I always get excited when I get an alert on my phone that I got a comment on a video somewhere. Because I really love interacting with my audience, both this way and down in the comments section. So subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the alert if you haven't already. Links down in the description. Different ways that you can support this channel also will be linked up down in the description. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.